Good morning, everybody. As mentioned, this talk is about post-quantum cryptography or cryptography in the age of quantum computers. So, and of course, implementations on small IoT devices. So, with starting in 1958, we had transistors of size of 2 transistors with 1 centimeter square. Moore's law came around, the number of transistors gone up. These days we have more than 5 billion transistors in chips. Now quantum computers are happening, like I think, in the same direction, with starting in 2015 with 4 qubit only. Qubit is number of is the bits in quantum space. Rather than having 0 and 1, we have 0 and 1 at the same time. So 2016 with 8 qubit, 17, and recently by announcing 2018 72 qubit by Google, and photon-based quantum computers coming on the construction with more effort on this. Quantum computers could solve kind of many various problems, like weather prediction, medical and healthcare, machine learning, many NP problems solved in polynomial time. For example, cryptographic algorithms based on public key cryptography. So you know that currently security of internet is basically based on public key cryptography, RSA or ECC. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with RSA, reverse Shami Adelman, the system that started in 1975, and ECC, elliptic curve cryptography, that currently we use for embedded small devices because it offers smaller key size, achieving same security level. Peter Shor, professor at MIT, at that time actually he was working at AT&T lab, came up with an algorithm. If you run it in quantum computers, you can solve the discrete log problem that I have up there for RSA. I mean, giving a big integer, you can find out, like integer factorization, what are the 2 numbers that you multiply, get that big number. And also elliptic curve discrete log problem in polynomial time. So if you have a quantum computer with like something roughly about 1,000 or 1,500 qubit, you can solve these algorithms with 128-bit security level in polynomial in just a couple of seconds. So there are efforts in the post-quantum cryptography moving forward, starting from code-based cryptography, well-studied, long-standing problems, Macaleese hash-based signatures, lattice-based problem based on learning with errors, and ring learning with errors or without ring. Multivariate polynomials that are used for rainbow signatures are considered as quantum safe solutions. So we are not hopeless. There are some candidates, but they have pros and cons. Plus isogeny-based cryptography that are working on based on elliptic curves, super singular elliptic curves, that are considered also be safe against the attack of quantum computers. So now Diffie-Hellman, I mean, you're familiar, 1970s, they started communication using secure connections based on these algorithms that I just mentioned. Which is my talk is mostly I'm focusing on post-quantum based on isogenies or elliptic curves, as they offer smallest key size. So in traditional ECC or elliptic curve cryptography that we use, elliptic curve Diffie-Hellman or ECDSA, elliptic curve digital signature algorithm, and elliptic curve integrated encryption system, everything is based on point multiplication, and the security is based on the elliptic curve discrete log problem. So the main operation is point addition, and also the Well, point multiplication, which is decomposed down to point addition, and point doubling, which is a special case of point addition. So we compute, we get a point, another point on the curve, and then we multiply a point with a scalar. You compute a public key. Alice and Bob, they share that public key, and then they start sharing the secret key, which is considered to be secure against classical computers, but not against the quantum computers. Isogeny-based problem or isogeny on supersingular elliptic curves we are talking about different problem. So getting a point on an elliptic curve and an image of a point on another elliptic curve. So it is widely accepted conjecture that quantum computers are not able to solve and find the image. So if I give you a curve and image of that curve, the hard problem here is to find the phi, which is the image of the curve. So I'll have, and also points. So I'll have more slides on that. Starting in 1997, Covenase came up with the idea of using isogenies for elliptic curves, but because elliptic curves just came out for standardization in 2000, it didn't get a lot of attention. And even the paper never got accepted, and it just became available in IACR. In 2005, Charles Lauter and Goren from Microsoft Research started working on isogeny hash function, and they developed some hash algorithm, but it was not that efficient at that time, and we had SHA and many other SHA algorithms, hash algorithms. In 2006, first public key crypto system came up with out by Rostovestev and Stolbanov, and the biggest work is done by David Zhao and DeFeo supersingular isogeny Diffie-Hellman, which is a key exchange based on isogenies, and it has been submitted for standardization called SIDH, supersingular isogeny key encapsulation. Which is under review by NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology, and IETF, Internet Engineering Task Force. So over here, the problem is a little bit different. A lot of people are asking that, do we have a quantum computer to evaluate the security of these algorithms? The answer is we don't need a quantum computer. If we come up with an algorithm that could find the hard problem here, then it should be accepted that they will be secure against the attacks of quantum computers. So given a PQ, two points on elliptic curve 1, an image of these points in another elliptic curve, finding phi is the hard problem. So it's a long-standing problem in computer science. Quantum computers could solve this problem with a claw finding algorithm, but the security, I mean, it is infeasible actually. It's not hard. It is hard actually for quantum computers. It is not impossible, but it's infeasible. So if we choose the prime size to be 6 times of the security level, for example, if you'd like to get a 128-bit security level of AES size, your prime field needs to be something about 6 times of 128, 768 bits. And to be secure against classical computers also, your prime field should be only 4 times of 128, which is 512 with security. So, for example, Alice and Bob, they work on, work on isogeny graph, what if we call them, and they exchange some information, and then at the end they obtain what we call it is J invariant of two curves, that using these J invariants, they can start communicating securely. So starting from the elliptic curve, base elliptic curve E, Alice computes a kernel, and also she computes the image of E, which is EA. Bob does the same. Bob gets image of E over EB. here they exchange some information here again, and then they do a compute a kernel phi of B, and then at the end they get a J invariant of AB and J invariant of BA. They're equal, and they use this J invariant as the symmetric key for traffic encryption. So advantages and disadvantages of super singular isogeny-based cryptography are they offer very small key size, and in comparison to the other candidates, there is no possibility of error decryption, and also conservative in terms of security analysis. Their youngest post-quantum candidates, a little bit slower, actually slower than the other candidates, but since they offer smallest key size in IoT world, we know that key size plays the main role in terms of bandwidth. And for example, I compare here in this table 564-bit actually byte in comparison to New Hope, which is 1,800. You can compress the keys to smaller, even half of that size, which makes it a lot useful for smaller devices. Hierarchy of computations of finite field, again here, addition, multiplication, inversion, basic operation of finite field or Galois field. FP square arithmetic are the next level, quadratic field extension computations, again addition, multiplication, squaring, inversion, group operations, isogeny evaluation and computations, point addition, doubling, and up to the higher level SIDH, which is or psych, super singular isogeny Diffie-Hellman, or psych, and the signatures and the many other protocols could be run over that. So we have done some performance evaluation on ARM v7M, ARM v7A, and V8. So in v7M, its performance is not that good. It's slow. It's something about seconds, which we offer hardware implementations over there. V7, which is mostly used for wearable devices with Neon engine, and 64-bit. The results are good. Acceptable. We're doing some computations on like Karatsuba type multiplication instead of running the computations on school book or operand scanning or product scanning method. And due to the Neon's engine on ARM v7, we have been able to get, for example, a considerable amount of computation performance boost. For example, you see that here in terms of the general registers and Neon, you get 16 multiplication, and versus 8 multiplications only. Multiplication, if you remember my hierarchy pyramid over there, plays the main role because addition and subtraction is easy, everybody knows that, and you can compute squaring with multiplication, inversion, Fermat's little theorem based on, again, inversion and squaring and multiplication. So multiplication computation is very important. I have some numbers here. Cortex A15, something is about 2.8 seconds. Our fastest results, actually, we are running also some improvements currently on A57, which is out of order instructions are available over there. With Neon and SIMD hybrid implementations, fastest results we got recently on assembly is 300 milliseconds, which is not bad. I mean, because you're not doing a lot of key exchange, you do once key exchange for IoT device, and then the rest could be done with traffic and with a symmetric key cryptography. So the results are good. Acceptable key size, again, I'm emphasizing it offers the smallest key size. You know that communication overhead costs something like 1,000 times more than computation times, right? Sending a bit, for example, some applications, Tor, they have bandwidth. That's LoRa for IoT devices. They have cell sizes that should be some certain amount that you cannot use the other candidates there. code-based cryptography is asking for something about 100 megabyte key size. So for ARM v7m, we offer implementations in hardware which could be done as ASIC implementations beyond the ARM processor to get the, like as a co-processor for post-quantum key exchange signature implementations, and which is would be a lot faster with reasonable amount of area size as classical cryptography. For example, a lot smaller than RSA and definitely bigger than ECC. So in comparison, quantum computers are in the corner. They're coming. Dave Wecker, Microsoft Research, he mentioned that they're coming in a decade. Recently, they had announcements that the quantum computers are becoming a real threat. NSA, National Security Agency, are recommended that we should act now because there are people that they can start download and harvest, what is it called? Download the encrypted data now, and then they can decrypt it if they have quantum computers in the 10 years or 15 years, whatever. But we would like to keep some secret information, classified information, secure forever. I mean, at least for more than, 20 years. So we need to act for this threat, against this threat, and there are solutions submitted for NIST standardization. They're asking for performance evaluation on small devices, on embedded devices, side channel analysis, previous talk, plus many other security analysis to help NIST to come up with an algorithm which is safe, secure, and also possible, feasible for small devices that, for example, ARM is developing for a real-world application. This is our team. We submitted for NIST standardization, bunch of people from industry and research. And I think my time is over. I'll be happy to answer if there is any question.
Thank you very much. Are there questions at this point? Okay, maybe a question from my side. So the NIST standardization process is planned to go on until 2023 or something?
Yes, yeah. It started from last year, actually, 2017. There are 69 candidates submitted for standardization. There was a PQC conference and also NIST workshop on PQC. They're doing their second round in 2019. And they're asking for merging some candidates. Probably public will evaluate the candidates in terms of security, performance, and implementations. By 2022, end of 2022 and early 2023, there will be some candidates that industry can start using them.
So how much confidence do we have in the candidates at the moment that they're not going to change drastically over the next few years?
I think all of the candidates are good in terms of security, unless somebody comes up with an algorithm. I mean, the security holds on something on them. Or side channel attacks are okay because you provide side channel attacks and then you can provide also countermeasures. But security in terms of the main model is a real threat. If somebody comes up, for example, for lattices or code-based cryptography, or somebody is not sure about the performance versus security. So these are like trade-offs here and there. So, but there are some candidates that they offer bigger key sizes that they are definitely not feasible for smaller, I mean, like, for example, medical devices.
Nick.UCI. From the initial set that was submitted to NIST, did any get compromised already? Yes. You said there were about 69 or so.
Yeah, it was. We had actually 83 candidates. Many of them got attacked, and they had some vulnerabilities. They're gone out of the process. Others are getting evaluated constantly by researchers. If you look at the crypto conferences, mostly all, I mean, at least more than, I can say strongly, more than 50% of papers are about post-quantum cryptography. So community are evaluating, cryptology community are evaluating these candidates, cryptographic engineers, implementers, attackers, they would like to see.
I guess my question is, you know, at some point, NIST will standardize on some handful of these protocols, right? And if they get cracked, so what happens? So is my question.
So NIST, well, actually, same thing in 2000. So they come up with, they started with, we had RSA, and then ECC started because RSA had a bigger key size. We couldn't use on smaller devices. ECC came in 2000. They gave binary field, prime field. They said binary field has some vulnerabilities. We're not sure about the security, Galva field, and then a lot of complete, I mean, industry just adopted prime field, and although binary field is also there. So same thing goes here. There are NIST, also they're not looking for a winning candidate, they're looking for some candidates that are secure. So, and the security is, there is no security proof, first of all. And security is based on the conjecture in terms of the public analysis and investigation and study. So.
Okay. We have time for one more question.
Thank you for the talk. A couple of years ago, NIST has issued a statement about the use of elliptic curve. They suggested people should stop using it. Would that apply to Spike?
Elliptic curves, actually, there is a long-standing problem with elliptic curves. Binary fields another thing, prime field is another thing. Backdoor in terms of the elliptic curves, I'm sure you guys are familiar with elliptic curve, Diffie-Hellman and elliptic curve, digital signatures, random number generations. NIST candidates, community public stopped, some communities stopped, possibly European countries stopped using NIST standardized candidates for elliptic curve cryptography. So that's why Google started using curve 25519, which was not proposed by NIST or NSA for cryptography. That what you're using that now currently in Google is curve 25519, which was not actually standardized, recently got standardized. So the problem could be because of the backdoor problem that have been announced by Snowden revelation, whatever. But beyond that, also in the post-quantum conference in 2015, NSA announced that instead of moving from, transitioning from RSA to ECC, let's just go to post-quantum because we would like to make our data not secure now, but also secure in 10 years, 15 years. So that's why some industry, countries, or even, for example, blockchain applications, people, they don't know that blockchains will stay secure in the next 10 years.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's thank the speaker again.
Thank you.